Hello and welcome to the latest episode number 3 of Toke and A Talk. You are here with Mandee and Kendra and our absolutely wonderful guest Syrena tonight, and we're so excited to hold space with all of you. Kendra, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Mandee?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to catch up with you, and I'm really excited to talk to our beautiful friend Syrena, who is an incredible cannabis connoisseur, as well as many, many other gifts and talents that she shares with us and with the planet. Welcome, Syrena. How are you doing?
I'm doing super good. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the kind words too. Really appreciate it. I'm honored to be part of this. I think it's such a fun thing. So I can't believe that you think I'm cool enough to be on here.
You are more than cool enough to be on here. And in fact, you have so many things to share. Syrena is someone who sits with the plant medicine. She is someone who studies it inside and out, has learned about the industry, has learned about the plant itself, has sat with it physically, mentally, spiritually, all of the things. And it's an honor and a privilege to talk to you about it. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So since our last episode of Toke and A Talk, Kendra and I started this show back in the springtime, early summer, springtime. And then Kendra ended up moving and things got a little rearranged, but now it's fall and we're going to bring back some new episodes. So how have you been doing, Kendra?
Well, with my health and my regimens and things that I was doing in New Jersey with cannabis and my ailments, that all got completely thrown upside down when I moved here to Tennessee. They don't recognize this plant as medicine. So that's been an eye-opener just to the ridiculous laws in this country as far as this medicine. It's been difficult. Most of my symptoms are back. A lot of them are, not all of them, but just really an eye-opener on I think critics would say, oh, she was dependent on cannabis. It's not the case. I was very happy and healthy and vibrant and energetic and focused and pain-free and anxiety-free for 3 years. So that's what I was. I wasn't dependent on cannabis. Now I am suffering. I am back to just searching for that thing to help me. And a lot of times they're just in a pill bottle in these little white bottles, and they just bring on so many other side effects. So I'm feeling it, I'm really feeling it. And I was so paranoid to do this show again because I'm in a state that doesn't recognize it. Delta 8 is really big here, and I'm hoping Syrena maybe can help me with this because I just don't get it. I talked to bud tenders. I mean, Delta 8 is everywhere. I probably could go to 5 shops within a 5-mile radius of my house right now. Where in New Jersey, I was going to a dispensary. I was reading labels. I was talking to bud tenders who were educated on the medicine. I was a test dummy. I was buying eighths and quarters of flour, and it was on me to go home and smoke it and see what it did for me. But at least I was in it. I knew what I was doing. And here I'm lost. Here I'm being given Delta 8 things that look like gummy worms and Rice Krispie treats, and I'm not knocking it. It's just not my medicine. It's not medicine for me. And the flour that I'm buying and smoking, I'm just throwing money out the window, like $60 here, $80 here. And it's, I don't know. It's not that it's not medicine, because it is. It's definitely flour. It's beautiful. It smells amazing, a lot of it. but it just doesn't, I'm starting over. So I'm upset that I don't have labels to look at, and THC was my medicine. So it's just a whole new level, a whole new journey with this. And I miss it. I miss medical cannabis. And I just miss having that freedom and not having that paranoia that I'm going to be in trouble. You know, if I do get THC somehow, like I'm just, you know, all that paranoia is back. Like I feel like I'm being bad, or I'm being dirty, or I'm, you know, I'm like in high school again. I'm being, you know, ooh, the police, like what? No, like this is, it just shouldn't be like this. So it's been challenging, and it's eye-opening, and just makes my voice get bigger and louder and stronger about it. So I'm glad that we can do this. I'm glad that we can come online and do this and talk and be real, and hopefully just help the next guy or the next mom, you know, the next person that's trying to just live their life with a plant. And like, you know, like I would love to grow my own. Like I wish that I had that. And I think it's great that Syrena does, and she knows what she's doing. So it's like, you know, it's just something to have hope for where I'm at, because I think out of the three of us, I'm in a state that is like, no, it's wrong, or whatever it is, whatever they think it is. So, you know, I'm just not going to shut up about it. That's kind of what I've learned. I'm just not going to shut up about it, and I'm going to figure this out.
Well, I'm really glad that you will share your story, and thank you for being brave enough to share your story, because I hope it'll start to change people's minds, because it is such a beautiful medicine and it's such a clean medicine. So it's unfortunate that you found something that works for you, and now just because you moved across an imaginary line, you can't use it, and that's really sad. I'm sorry that you're going through that, and I hope that changes soon.
Me too.
I'm really lucky to be in Vermont, where things have been pretty progressive. Actually, in New York, where I'm originally from, things are insanely progressive now. It's wild. I went home recently, and everything is just so lax and wonderful, and the way that it should be, in my opinion. So hopefully other people will catch on soon. And
yeah, totally.
I don't really know too much about the Delta 8, because we don't really have a lot of it around here, because everybody has their own flower or whatever, things like that. Everybody can grow it. We don't have dispensaries here in Vermont. It's not legal recreationally. We can't just go into a store and buy it like you can in Jersey. But you can grow your own, and you can smoke your own. So it's wonderful knowing, start to finish, your plant is only as good as your soil and the things that you put in it. And therefore your medicine is only as good as that. So being able to know start to finish where it came from is really nice, especially when you're using it for medicine. I started using cannabis as medicine because I am insanely anxious, and I have a nervous stomach, and it makes, anytime the wind blows the wrong way and I get worked up, I throw up. So cannabis was the only thing that would make me stop throwing up and make me chill out. So I really came to appreciate this plant. And then once I started growing it, I really started to appreciate it, because something about working with the life, and every day as I water it and I prune it and give it the love, I put affirmations into it and say, literally, like, please accept all this love and energy, and then become the best medicine you can for me and my family, because I'll share it. My dad has a bad back and things like that. And I believe in my heart it makes a difference when the people that I love and when I smoke it are absorbing the medicine. I think it's all about intentions, and I think that it really helps. And it's really nice to be able to know that I can help my family in pain and give them good, clean medicine, so they don't have to go to those little white bottles that have all the extra side effects. It's like, I have pain, I smoke this, I feel better. Boom. Right. Cured.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
I totally
I don't
agree.
know a lot about the Delta 8 stuff either, but we're going to have to do some research on it because it is getting popular. And yeah, and from what I can understand, it's mostly kind of almost like a rolled like oil or hash oil or something that gets put on back onto plants or like rolled up. I don't really know. So
I thought it was kind of like CBD and it was another cannabinoid.
Yes.
So like THC is a cannabinoid and your body has cannabinoid system, so it processes those. So I thought the Delta H was kind of like a CBD, but just a different like version.
It is. It's something that it's got a more potent properties than CBD. And then like this stuff, so this is CBG, which the bud tender, so it's like, you know, you get these jars, right? Delta 8. I mean, I could go get this 20 places right now within 5 miles of my house. That's how many of these stores are here.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere. But you know, and like even the smell of this stuff, like it's delicious. It's delicious. Like I was like, oh my God, like I've never smelled anything like this one. So, but you smoke it, and it's supposedly this is grown indoors in Nashville.
Okay.
But you smoke it, and like I am just used to that instant, like, and you know what I'm talking about. It's instant. I don't care who you are, how old you are, how long you've been smoking, what you're smoking. It is instant when you hit something, when you smoke a bowl or a joint or whatever it is. Instant, right? So like this stuff, it's just not instant. It's just not. And sometimes I don't know what it is. Like I'm just like, I'm a sativa fan. So I like knowing that I'm smoking sativa. That's it. I don't care what it's called. I don't care what it smells like. Now, terpenes, I love terpene profiles. So like anything like with lemon, like the lemon, is that what it is? Or pinene?
I love lemon, yeah, citrus.
Oh my God, that stuff is like my medicine. So it's all like I'm lost without having that option. And then some of this flower is real dark and some of it's not. So some of it's light. So I was trying to remember if I think the darker they are, it's more of an indica. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. And then the lighter strains are sativas. Is that correct, or is it?
I don't know that that's a thing.
That.
I think it's strain specific, honestly, because I have had strains that were purple that was a sativa, but I've also had strains that were purple and orange that was an indica dominant. So I do think it's strain specific, but don't quote me on that. I'm for sure not a botanist. But I think and also I think like if I grow it versus if you grow it, it might just come out a little bit different too, depending upon your light, what kind of nutrients you use.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It's like everything. There's so many different factors. But yeah, interesting that the color and the smell are, you know, so potent sounding.
Yeah, I mean this stuff's
like infused with terpenes.
I don't know. I honestly, I just don't know. And I don't know. And it's like, I just don't understand it because like some of the stuff like whacks me out and I'm like, no, like, how is this freaking legal? Like, how is this okay? How is this chocolate bar okay? That's going to send me off the highway right now. If God forbid I was driving, but medical cannabis isn't. Like, so that's a whole other thing. It's just like, I don't get it. Like what? Cause it looks like a Rice Krispie treat. It's okay. Like, no, I don't know. So that kind of stuff, I'm just not into it. I'm not into that reckless drug use like I used to be.
I agree. Well, you're using it for medicine. So if you were a medic, you want to know the proper dosage to take. It's not, you're not using it recreationally just to like get messed up and have a good time. You know?
Exactly.
You can drop F-bombs on this show. It's okay.
All right, good.
I don't know how Kendra and I haven't yet, to be quite honest. But that's when we worked the Boardwalk Buds event. We worked next to a lot. There's a lot. It was Boardwalk Buds in Atlantic City, celebrating, weed being legalized and everything. And it was great. And there were so many cool things. But they were able to sell a lot of this like Delta 8 stuff and like in pre-rolls and everything and all kinds of stuff. And I just kept asking about it, and like, because it's so potent, some of it can be so potent. And then, yeah, people kept describing it as like an oil being like basically put back on to like CBD or rolled up in it or like in the edibles and stuff. So we'll have to do some research on that and get back to all you guys and find out what the scoop is. Yeah. All I know, I like dabs sometimes too. We can ask Syrena a little bit more about that and what that's about. All I know though is I am a flower girl, and that is what has been healing me, and that was my medicine to help bring me back to life. And it's just classic simple flower. And like I said, even like the hash pens don't really do it for me. Like, yeah, I can get a little like fucked up on them, but it doesn't make my body feel better the way that cannabis does, and just the flower.
Weirdly, I like to mix it all. So for me, flower, for me personally, flower, like Kendra said, literally makes me go, and like relaxes my whole body. And it's like a body thing. And it just makes me feel like, dabs, I can feel it in my head. I can't with flowers. And edibles rock me. I try to stay away from those. They they really rock me. But I like them for sleeping, actually. If I can't sleep, eat some edibles and then out like a light, baby. Yes.
Great sleep on edibles for sure.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I feel about it with the dabs. I like them, but for more of the head high, not for the like everyday medicinal thing. Like, because I don't really drink a lot. Whoa, music went on in the background as I said that. I don't really drink a lot, very rarely or whatever, but I'll hang out with people who do, and it's nice to sometimes like do a dab or two, because that'll bring me up to a different level that I'm not used to, or that I don't feel the same with like the flower that I'm used to consuming.
I love, in the morning, my favorite thing to do is I'll take some bong hits of some flower, and then I'll take 3 dabs. You can't take more than 3 because then I get too spacey. But 3, I get laser focused, and then it's like ready for the day. But the bong hits relax me first. And that's why I have to do it in that order. It's like coffee, bong hits, 3 dabs. Boom.
Nice.
I love that. I'm how you call it, wake water weed and then walk dogs. But I usually wake water weed and then I do my soul space, my gratitudes and stuff, and then I get up and move my body and like walk my dogs usually, or drop into yoga or something. But it makes a difference for me in the mornings. And for me, it's kind of like, yeah, it's okay. It's totally cool to like pop your Xanax when you wake up. So why can't you hit your weed if you need to?
That's right. I should throw water into the mix first, but it's usually straight for coffee and cannabis.
Coffee and CC. That is okay.
Exactly. I like your alliteration too. Weed and water. Boom.
I love alliteration.
Me too.
It's the only reason I wake up is for coffee and cannabis. So when I was a patient and I was able to get oil, I would put oil in my coffee, and it would be my Canna coffee.
Yes.
And, oh my God, that is like my favorite thing in the world. Like, if you give me some Canna coffee and tell me I'm going to the beach, like you give me a beach chair.
That's what my sister does, actually. She will make her own butter and just put like a little like glob of it. Just it's not even butter, it's coconut oil, actually.
Yeah.
But
nice.
Put a little bit of that in her coffee. Yeah, put it right in her coffee. And that's keto too, because the coconut butter, boom, fills you up, satiates you. So it's like so many health benefits.
Well, the coconut oil, you just rub that right into your body. That's like the best for pain relief. I was doing that all the time, and even just the benefit of that.
You can't even have that. You can't even have that anymore, can you?
Well, there's no way. I mean, I can use it. I could maybe try it with this Delta 8 crap and see if it does anything. But I was used to using the whole flower with the THC and just letting that permeate through my skin. And I mean, it was, and you talked about helping family. I mean, I've made that stuff and have given it to family members and they just couldn't say enough about it, how much relief they would get, whether it was for their knee pain or whatever. And,
Yes.
you know, just it's amazing how it's a plant and it's just perfect. It's perfect. Like, to me, it's just the only thing I really know in this world that's perfect for me. It's just does everything. It does everything I need. Yeah, so it's
do you
perfect.
guys have the Gaia network? That it's like an app, but then it has, so on that there's this thing called the Tree of Life, and it's about how cannabis is the tree of life. I highly recommend anybody that can to watch it. It blew my mind. I loved cannabis, but it even made me love it even more. It was so good, and you just need to watch it. It's so good.
I do. I think it's the tree of life. Like, it brought me back, and it was something, this is a nice segue into something we want to talk to Syrena about, but like, it always had such a negative stigma and connotation to it, and people, like, growing up, teachers and people around me made me feel like it was like the worst, like, drug in the world. And for me, it was my gateway to healing, and I was so afraid to take it. It was so easy for me to take a nice cocktail of, like, you know, Vicodin and muscle relaxers and this and that and all kinds of stuff, because that's okay. Alcohol, throw that in there. But, you know, oh my God, smoke weed. And for me, I was like 25. I had broken my back for like the second time or something, and I was on all these like steroids and painkillers and muscle relaxers and shit. And my brothers encouraged me to quit smoking or quit taking all my drugs for a month and like try smoking some weed, and everything changed since. And I've got nothing but better, faster, stronger, sharper, more connected to spirit, to my body. I feel like I've grown younger. I look at pictures of myself when I'm 25 and now, and I'm like, I look way better at 35 than 25. So there's things to that. And so Syrena is just a wealth of knowledge, but something that she enlightened me about was a lot more of the stigmas around cannabis, and, you know, what was intentionally done in order to condition us a bit around that. So would you mind sharing with us, Syrena, some of your knowledge around that?
So one of the things that Mandy's talking about that we discussed is calling it cannabis as opposed to calling it marijuana. So the war on drugs has a lot of racist ties to it. And when they were doing the war on drugs, they started saying marijuana so it would sound Mexican, and it was like fear mongering. And the truth is, it's a beautiful, wonderful plant. So we want to call it by the plant name rather than that name, because that people associate marijuana with being evil and the devil's lettuce and all this like weird things. But the truth is, it's really just a plant. It's really just wonderful medicine that comes out of the ground. And it's a shame how many stigmas are associated with weed, but that's why as a professional in the business world, I always try to be open about my cannabis use, because everybody thinks that stoners just sit around all day playing video games, eating pizza and ordering burritos or whatever it is. But the truth is, stoners are out there running the world. And a lot of people just can't admit that they're a stoner, but they're the people that are waking up in the morning, grabbing their weed, grabbing their water, grabbing their coffee, are out there hustling, and they're making the world go round. And we've had to be afraid of, like, growing up in New York, until this like crazy change, growing up in New York, if you got caught with weed, it was like off with your head. So you had to hide it, and it had to be a secret, and you had to be ashamed because you were a criminal and all this stuff. And now that things are changing, I love when people can be open about it, because it's like, let's show the people that don't understand that stoners are running the world how we really are, and how we're bossing up and we're doing big business deals and saving lives and, you know, all the wonderful things that stoners do every day that nobody knows because you just can't talk about it.
I love that, but it's so totally okay to go to happy hour at 5 o'clock with your coworkers. Like, that's
Absolutely.
fine.
I think it's interesting through the pandemic that we're in right now, how, you know, THC is a proven expectorant, and you would think that this would be beneficial for anybody. When I had COVID, I was smoking, and I was, you know, able to clear out my lungs. So it's baffling how, the stigma, is just ruining chances for real beautiful healing and treatment through plant medicine in our country. And I don't know, I've used it for, like I said, I used it for my fibromyalgia. I used it for my severe anxiety after my heart attack. And my diabetes, my type 1 diabetes, it should be, that should be a qualifying condition for anybody in the country with a medical state. Type 1 diabetes, my diabetes was controlled. I had so much better control over my diabetes with my plant medicine.
That's amazing.
And people would think, oh, it's going to make you eat and get the munchies. That's what all the doctors told me before I even made the decision to try medical cannabis. I was told not to do it because I was going to eat and get the munchies and gain weight and all this stuff. And that may have happened if I chose that. That would have happened. But what would happen is I would spend $50 on an eighth and I'd smoke it. And if it made me hungry, I wasn't eating that stuff. I wasn't smoking that stuff. I was going to make oil out of that and rub it in my body. So that's what I had to do until I found the strains, because in New Jersey, they don't test for Delta 8, and Delta 8 is an appetite suppressant. So if we not Delta 8, I'm sorry, THCV. So THCV suppresses appetite. So they don't test for that in New Jersey. They do in Colorado, I believe, California. But for some reason in New Jersey, they don't want it disclosed if something has THCV because it's not going to make you hungry.
Okay, interesting.
Bullshit. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with all that, but I just feel
I'm glad you're throwing it on the altar, because it's helped me heal so many things, and things you don't think of, and right now, in the spiritual side, lungs represent grief, and we need to release a lot of grief as a collective for a lot of ways, for a lot of things. And so when we look at this whole, COVID situation, no matter how or where it came from, either way, we got a problem, we got to deal with it, and we got to give it love and attention. And cannabis is one of the things that can help heal that. When I had my ankle reconstruction surgery, I had severe pain after, and my doctor was like, "Are you a cannabis user?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You need to start using again, because if you just cut it off, your body's going to react to that, especially if you have fibromyalgia and nerve conditions like I did." And then I had a severe vocal cord dysfunction, still technically do, but I manage it much better now, and it's different. And my speech therapist encouraged me to smoke because of how much it relaxes your entire bronchial tract and all the things. And it helped me to reprogram because a vocal cord dysfunction is when you're speaking or breathing in, your vocal cords, your flaps are supposed to open up. But what happens is it goes backwards and they close up on me when it's not. And so you have to do all these breathing techniques and relax and different things. And she said specifically, this was a doctor in Colorado who specialized in this, that cannabis, they're working with it to treat it and help it, and with a lot of different lung conditions. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of validation that there are some people looking into it and working with it. And that, for me, it helped me heal a lot of things that had to do with breathing, which you don't think smoking something would, but it did for me.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I just know with diabetes, if my blood sugars are not in control, I literally feel like I have a flu and I can't function. So that was one of the best things about cannabis, was that I would smoke it, 2-3 puffs, and that flu was gone. It was gone. And just for any sick and suffering diabetic out there who has that body ache and that pain and that depression and that, that funk, we all get in it. I mean, I've been a diabetic for over 30 years, and you go in these ruts sometimes where you're just helpless and hopeless. I mean, you're just facing shit every day. You're facing shit. It doesn't matter if you eat the same thing every day and exercise at the same time every day and do the same thing every day. Your blood sugars will never be the same every day. So it's one of those diseases that it just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop here. and cannabis helps. And I just like, God, if I could do one thing in this lifetime, that would be it. It would just be to get somebody to like just recognize how diabetics would benefit, even our eyes. Like the plant, like my eyesight got better. They were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, yeah, medical cannabis. That's what I'm doing. Well, keep doing whatever you're doing. So it's, you know, it's just that. Like I don't know. I felt when I was involved in the program in New Jersey, it was expensive, but at the end of the day, I was writing books. I was writing medical books for people. I mean, any doctor can pull my blood work and my charts and see what happened to me in those 3 years, you know? So I did it for that. And I don't know if I'll ever end up in a book or a case study or anything, but I want the world to know that there is hope and help for you with whatever diagnosis you have. There's literally a plant that can help you. Agreed. And it should be legal. It should just be friggin' legal everywhere. So I don't know.
That's the hardest part is like, you know, for me, I got to live in Colorado and it became legal there. And I was a social worker. I could leave my job, order what I wanted and pick it up through a drive-through on my way home. And it was just fine. Then I moved back to Jersey and it wasn't legal for a while, but everybody was still smoking. Nobody really gave a shit. And then it became legal here. And I'm like, you know, and it's just, I wish it was something that could just be done federally to help people. And that's the problem is it's going to drastically change our current systems. We're not going to be feeding big pharma the way that we have been, because this is something that cures and heals us. And if there's one thing each and every one of us can notice or take a look at, it's that, okay, there's something going on here. And so the more we, the people, just keep showing up with it, keep speaking our truths, keep saying what it does for us and what we've experienced, the more it empowers others to maybe check it out for themselves and see what it does for them. And we, the people, can walk together. And it really should be something that is everywhere, all over the world. And Syrena, I'm sure, can tell us much more about this, but it's like, it can be used for so many things. Hemp alone can be used just to solve so many different sustainability problems. And, you know, there's just umpteen options of ways that it can only improve. And when it became legal in Colorado, they were able to build new roads and new schools.
Yes.
I'm handing the mic to Syrena.
We are only really touching on the physical things that cannabis does for us. Let's also talk about how it helps us, at least me, be able to pause, take a step back, and switch perspective in ways that nothing else in the world can do. It literally calms me down enough and literally allows me to think differently. It's super enlightening, and I think I'm not alone in that. Many people would agree. I feel like it makes people more creative. Artists especially, you know, smoke, relax, get in this zone that nothing else really can bring them there. It's fascinating. We're so lucky.
Cannabis leads you to consciousness. It helps you become more conscious, to slow down and actually take a look at all of those things that are going on in your mind. That's huge.
Super huge. It also, for me, quiets. I usually have like 10 things happening at least at once. And after I smoke, it quiets some of it. So it's like only 5 things happening at once. And it's so much more manageable. And like, I don't know, as somebody who has never properly been diagnosed with ADD, but I can tell you I've been doing research lately and it's like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. I would much rather use cannabis and instead of Adderall or one of the, you know, alternatives, because remember earlier when I talked about the 3 dabs making me laser focused, right? Boom. Yeah. The dabs that I'm using, so when I dab with hash rosin. It's, I don't know if you can see it, but
so you make that?
Okay, this this is hash rosin that I did make. My friend has all the equipment. So
Nice.
he was kind enough to not only let me use the equipment, but show me every step along the way. And I got to like literally do it. So
Wow.
this is from the plant that I grew legally in my backyard in Vermont. I harvested it. I froze it all. So you freeze it all straight from the plant. You don't dry it. Then you go and we made what's called bubble hash. So you take the frozen plants and you put ice and water and you wash it, and it goes through these screens. And then you put the water through and the sift, like it ends up looking like sand. It's such a cool process. So you take like the sand and then you freeze dry it. Then you squish it in a press and it becomes rosin. So this is like the cleanest, best dabs you can possibly have. And I literally know from the ground to the dab rig, every step of this is clean and pure and nothing is added to it. And that's
what kind of plant is that? What's the name of that plant?
I can't tell you, but it's delicious.
Why can't you tell me? What's its name?
Tricks of the trade.
Does it have lemon in it?
This one does not.
No.
This one does not. But I wish it did because lemon
What's
is
it
also.
smell like?
It smells like pody, the strongest like pody weed you ever smelled in your life. It smells.
Wow.
It's condensed, so you only need 3 dabs, and it's great.
Wow.
Lots of people smoke BHO. I am here to tell everybody, do not do that. It is not good for you. It literally makes you dumb, amongst
What
other
is it?
So BHO is when they take weed and they put butane all over it, and then it's super gross, but they make what looks like this. It looks like this. And people dab with it, but don't do it because it's chemicals. This has nothing. This is just the like trichomes. This is just the flakes. This is just the crystals from the weed. That's it.
I think I did it by accident one
How
time.
much does it take?
Or
What's that?
oh, go ahead,
like-
Ken.
Like, how much do you need to make something in that jar? Is it a quarter? Is it a pound? Like, how much do you need to do that?
I had a big old tree, and it made more than this, but it takes a lot. So this is like concentrated, you know, like when you have concentrated laundry soap, right? You just need a little bit. It's just like that. So I don't know the exact math, but it was quite a bit. But then you only need like 3 dabs instead of smoking 3 whole bongs. I don't know.
Right. Gotcha. And you need like a special rig to smoke that?
So yeah, this is a dab rig. It's actually really lovely. I wish you could see the opal and the turtle. But my friend is a glass blower and he makes these.
Nice.
So you heat this up with your torch and then you literally dab it, dab, and breathe in and just take a hit. Super clean. It doesn't smell as much as it would when you smoke flower. So there's no carbon matter left in here, and that's why this is cleaner than smoking flower.
Got it.
What some people say. The truth is, dabs really haven't been around long enough for us to do the real research. So,
right. And
trial and error, finding out how as we go.
I'll show you.
That's so awesome. Yes, show us. Doing dabs, Toke and A Talk here on Sea Goddess Healing Arts.
A turtle for Sea Goddess. How perfect.
Oh, it's so perfect. And
actually, while we're doing this, you should see, this is my bong. It's a custom piece and it's a sun. So
that's beautiful.
Nice.
I love that.
The same artist.
Speaking of artists, do we have someone who wants to say a quick hello? Our resident in-house artist, Michelle Franzoni, just stopped in real quick.
Franzoni! Hi, Michelle.
How are Do you want to take a tip and take a
Good.
talk?
Oh my God, is this happening?
It's up to you.
Michelle, how do you feel? What does smoking cannabis do to you with your art?
Good question.
So it, it allows me to go there. Like it allows me to, I don't know, go into my imagination with it.
I love
But
it.
I also didn't smoke for years. I was that big, fat general manager. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
didn't
were
smoke for
talking about
years,
that.
and then divorced, but I was never married. And then marijuana like healed me. It allowed me to I had like some deep meditations that like really healing stuff. So I don't know. It's healing to me. I'm not good with words. Can I just paint?
Here's a fresh one for me. This is what it is.
Ooh, what is that?
I'm giving it to my son, Kendra.
You are?
Because he just turned 17, and I named it after the song that like the girl in there is called Shelly.
Awesome.
So I'm like, you know what? It kind of reminds me of me. So you'll always have a portrait of your mom.
Aw.
He's gonna hate it, but it's funny.
Well, we have Healing Arts are sending him lots of happy birthday love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this camera because I don't like,
Well,
I
we
love you.
thank you
I'm
for visiting
still
all of
here,
us.
though.
Yeah, Michelle's
talking.
gonna still hang with us.
Nice.
But she shared her fresh Franzoni, and how lovely.
Yeah.
So another thing, we only have about 10 more minutes left in this show, but we're definitely going to have Syrena back for way more talk.
Definitely.
Something that I wanted to ask you or for you to touch on is to talk about if there's anything we can all follow you on and things like that still or not, or coming soon, and also women in the industry. Two things that you know a lot about and you're passionate about.
I am actually passionate. So I've never considered myself to be like a feminist or a girly girl or even have girlfriends, honestly. But since I've started to be more interested in the cannabis industry, I realized quickly that it is super male dominated and all the dudes think they know all the things. And I think it's super important for girls to start learning, women rather, to start learning and representing. And turns out there are a few women really hustling and making awesome things happen in the industry. And when I first started, I had help from dudes. There was a very special dude that was very kind and offered me a lot of knowledge, and I'm thankful for him. But then there was a lot of other guys around trying to tell, mansplain me things. So I found some books, some literature by women that was very helpful. This one is called The Feminist Weed Farmer. It's a quick read. It's just about this woman who actually was in Humboldt in California and made her own weed farm. It's really cool. She even gives you tips and tricks. I love it. This is A Woman's Guide to Cannabis. This one is about how it is a male-dominated industry and how girls need to work twice as hard per usual, but they are working twice as hard and they're making things happen. So support the other girls in the industry, please. This one doesn't have anything to do with feminism, but we will all like it that watch this. It's called High Magic, and it's tips and tricks, things that you can do with your cannabis. Sometimes you can do spells or intentions, all sorts of fun things. But anyway, I think it's important to support the women in the industry because it's a place that women belong, even though men might not think that. So let's support the other girls. What was the other question though? Sorry.
Do you still have something that we can follow you on, on Instagram?
Yeah, okay. So I did get rid of my weed Instagram, but I do have a regular Instagram, just Syrena Marie 05. There's a few weed pictures, but mostly awesome landscapes because I'm lucky enough to live in such a beautiful state that I just have to share it with everybody.
Now, your previous weed page was really amazing. Is there any hopes or chances of a new one coming maybe in the future?
At
some point.
I'll never say never, because who knows, I might be directed to do something like that again, drawn rather to do something like that again. I took a break from it because I just...
That's okay. You don't even have to tell us. Whatever is good is good. Whatever's in alignment is in alignment. But yeah, I was just wondering if, because it was a very beautiful, cool thing, and got us to show a glimpse of the world and of the care and all the things. And so just sister to sister, and you as a teacher of mine in this industry, it was so nice to learn from you from that. So even on this show, if you want to come on or show us little slides or anything, we welcome it, because you just, you truly are connected. And you're connected in a spiritual way. You know, this is Sea Goddess Healing Arts. I haven't heard about that weed magic one, but I'm excited about that a lot. Yeah. Kendra does a lot of that. She's always infusing all of her. Tell us what you do with it, Kendra.
So, well, I just will marinate my medicine all the time. I marinate it like I'll put it in little dishes with my crystals. Yeah. So I'll give Reiki to my crystals. I'll send healing and all kinds of good shit to my crystals, and then I'll lay my plants on top of it, and I let it sit there and marinate and just smoke it. And I'm just taking in that intention constantly. Yeah. So I marinate my medicine and crystals.
So I, in the morning, while I'm doing my bong hits, I'm sipping my coffee. Before I take my first bong hit, I always do this little like gratitude, like, thank you so much for this beautiful plant medicine. Please let my body absorb all of its healing properties, and whatever is like ailing me, I will say, let it make my belly feel better, or let it calm my nerves, or whatever it is that's bothering me. And then I say, like, thank you to the farmers that grew this and put their love into it. And it's placebo effect. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I feel like it absolutely works better when you tell it, here's what I'm using this medicine for, and thank you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Beautiful.
I love that. And like, we're really building a bridge now between science and spirituality, and we can measure this in certain ways. Like kids, people all over, there's all kinds of different scientific groups studying the impact that our words and our energies and intentions have on water. And we're like 70, 80% water. And so when we do tell ourselves, this is what reprogramming and rewiring is all about. And I very much believe that cannabis can be, if it feels in alignment for you, an incredible tool. And for me, it was something, I was in the cannabis closet and the spiritual closet for a really long time, because I was a professional working my way up in social work world and things like that. And I was always like afraid of the stigmas behind it. It was my dirty little secret. But ever since I embraced it and really have started to even just be, just totally myself with it and open with it, it just opens more doors, and it helps other people know that this could be out there. Like, my life got so much better. And I always am open about it. If for some reason it doesn't serve me anymore, it will fall away. Like all the other things that don't serve me anymore have fallen away. But right now it's very much in alignment, and it's okay. And you can be, I love that you're calling such attention, Syrena, to being a boss. Kendra and I are bosses. We love to boss it up, and it helps me to activate and get shit done.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Keep your business.
I love it. So we got to wrap up this episode of Toke and A Talk. Syrena, thank you so much for spending your time and energy and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. Like, you're incredible, sister.
Thank you so much for having me. I had such a good time. I really appreciate it.
We're gonna have many more talks to come.
Yeah.
And
maybe
Kendra,
like a Toke and A Talk road trip, maybe to visit Syrena, so that we can see some plants and stuff. I mean, I'm totally down with that.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Yeah.
Y'all know I go to Vermont any chance I can. I'll be there.
I think I need a road trip.
Road trip.
And so if you're tuning into this episode, give us a like, share, follow, especially if you've made it this far on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, Sea Goddess Healing Arts. Kendra and I are also co-teaching a class with Ursula Duffy, our incredible aromatherapist and astrologist. You must register by Halloween because this class is called Haunted Holes, and it's all about clearing out the cobwebs of our what was it? Clearing out the cobwebs of our
our past.
Yeah, but it's sexual shadows. Clearing out the cobwebs of our sexual shadows. Stoner. You can come back. And that's what it's about. It's about releasing stigma of many of us hold a lot of really rough energies in our sacral chakras and in our root chakras because of guilt, shame, criticism, fear, things that we feel or associate with our sexuality, with things that have happened to us, with things that we've done, maybe that we're afraid to do, maybe that we feel is wrong because of a belief that we have or about ourselves. Some of us, in the past maybe like had, some fun chapters and maybe we slut shame ourselves or things like that. And this is an opportunity just to bring attention. Maybe you've been through trauma, maybe something really bad has happened. This is just an opportunity to hold the space and to just let things be as they are. And we're going to be doing yoni steaming. So in the beginning of it, we'll encourage everyone to be sitting on their steam and steaming, and then we'll hold sacred circle. And Kendra is going to mail everyone a personal crystal grid that she's created from Higher Self Healing, infused with her Reiki and healing energy for this. And then we're going to do ceremony and sacred circle to release whatever it is that's no longer serving us and help to recalibrate whatever was haunting our holes, if you will. And so you got to sign up by Halloween for Haunted Holes. And then we will be doing that on November 13th. Everyone will have all their supplies, and then it'll be a 2-hour workshop and ceremony with 3 incredible healers. And we're excited for that. So keep your eyes out, register, check out SeaGoddessHealingArts.com. And then Kendra, how can people get a hold of you if they want to follow you?
Oh, well, so on Instagram, I'm Camtastic, KHAMTASTIC. And my Instagram is just it's a mix of Sea Goddess. It's a mix of higher self healing, family. It's just my life. And that's kind of huge for me, just because I've been in a spiritual and a cannabis closet recently, just because of being a mom and being a professional. And so I'm proud of myself that I can be real and speak my truth, and like my throat chakra is open. So yeah, I would love people to follow me on Instagram, and then Facebook is me. It's just Kendra Hammel, Hammell, and I would love some new friends. I'm always looking for friends. Me and Syrena are new friends. And so, yeah, check me out.
Beautiful. Thank you all so much. Thank you both again for joining us. Thank you to our viewers and our angels and spirit and Mama Cannabis herself for calling us all together for a Toke and A Talk. We will be back at you soon in the future with more episodes. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye. Stay high.
I love that.